Hey guys, Brett Weiss here. Welcome to another video. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. So today, I'm talking more comments on the Intellivision Amico. You guys seem to enjoy that based on how many comments and views they get. I just want to deliver content that you guys enjoy. Unedited today, just gonna go off the cuff and talk about comments on one of my recent videos that were 5 reasons I find the Intellivision Amico to be controversial, just why it has so much buzz, why it's commented on so often, both negatively and positively. So we're gonna get to that momentarily, but check out brettweisswords.com if you're interested in retro gaming books. Did you know you have to have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube to have a merch channel, to have a merch store on your YouTube channel? I'm getting close to 3,000, but hey, I've got a little ways to go. But brettweisswords.com, just as good, works the same way. You can buy autographed books direct from me. I've also got links to my social media and my Patreon page at brettweisswords.com. So after you watch this video, check it out. I would really appreciate it. I will put the link in the description as well. All right, let's get to the Amico comments that I found interesting and informative and amusing at times. So let's get to it. Brian's Man Cave, good friend of mine, really good guy, good YouTuber, said, I still don't get why people keep saying it's a scam. It's not like Tommy, as in Tommy Tallarico, is poor and needs the money. He's obviously not. Very successful gaming career, Tommy Tallarico. And it's just to answer Brian's question specifically, I believe a lot of it has to do with the Coleco Chameleon, which is we're 5 years removed from the Coleco Chameleon debacle. Holy cow. That's when it was uncovered as a hoax, as a scam. And the Intellivision Amico obviously is much different than that because, with Tommy being behind it and the development team and all that they've shown so far with the prototypes and the gameplay and everything, different story than Coleco Chameleon. But just to answer his question, I think that's probably why. All right, so next up, Bruce CSI says, just picked up NES Omnibus. Good stuff, man. Oh, wait a minute. It's on the Amico video, but that's just a little plug there. Sorry, guys. All right, next up is the Screaming Celt, or Celt, as in Celtic or Celtic. The Screaming Celt, I'm going to assume he means Celtic. He goes, I'm really hoping for some Tron and D&D games on this console. Amen, brother. It'd be great to see some Tron, especially for me, on the Amico. That would be awesome. Would love if he could get that license. Now, that's a Disney property, so I guess we'll see about that. That would be amazing. And for me, the game I'm looking forward to the most on the Amico, there's talk of a Beauty and the Beast remake. That's my favorite Intellivision game, the Great Climbing Game. Would absolutely love to see that. You know what else I'd like to see? I just thought of this. A great pinball game on the Amico. The Intellivision, it's not as well known as like Atari Pinball or some of the NES pinball games or whatever, but holy cow, Intellivision has a great pinball game. I would love to see that updated for the Amico. Next up is Retro Player. He goes, for me, I think the Amico is a gimmick. It will be just like the Wii. People will lose interest quickly. Well, that's interesting. I'm sure Tommy would love it if the Amico turns out to be just like the Wii, because it sold over well over 100 million units, and I'm sure Tommy and the team at Intellivision would be very happy with if the Amico was just like the Wii. All right, so next up, I Love Tunes says, Amico is a big, huge failure. I'm not even sure what to say about that. I think that's funny because it hasn't come out yet. Now, it's been delayed quite a bit. Now we're looking at a year delay. So if you call a delay a failure, I guess, whatever. But a big, huge failure. So anyway, too early to tell. It hasn't even come out yet. So anyway, thanks for that. I appreciate all the comments as long as they're respectful and polite, Next up is Mobile Decay. He says, I'm not interested in the Amico, but I would like to see it succeed. I do think it's too expensive, even with a second controller. Very measured comment there. Appreciate that. He's not interested in the Amico, and he makes a couple of points. He finds, just respectable, even-handed points by Mobile Decay. Appreciate that. Next up is Damon Stewart. He says, Amico is trying to be like ColecoVision and Intellivision. Okay, that's a thing you can say. Next up is Mark McCrae. Damon Stewart, just having some fun here. Next up is Mark McCrae. Good discussion, Brett. There will always be a market of nostalgic users, but I question these large, expensive projects like this and the VCS. And if they can go mainstream with families and kids are naturally going to want the PS5 and Xbox. But let's see. I certainly welcome the innovation. Thank you for that, Mark. Again, a very measured comment, despite some, concerns or negativity or whatever. Appreciate that. Nicely done. Marquis Desang says, the lack of a spinner on the controller is what killed the Amico. It's kind of interesting to say the Amico was already dead when it hadn't come out yet. He goes, it is just a bad design. It looks painful to hold. The fact that Tommy doesn't want any retro-looking or pixel art games on it is panning it into a corner where no one will want it. Now that's interesting about the pixel art games. I think it would be cool to have some, but like Shovel Knight or something like that, or something like that style. But that's apparently, at this point, not the direction the Amico is going. Anyway, Marquis de Sang goes on. It is just another Nintendo Wii U, but with mobile games. Personally, what I hate, I don't think it's but with mobile games because you play them on your TV, but I get what he's saying. Simple games, which I'm perfectly fine with. I like me some simple gaming. And he says, personally, what I hate the most about the Amico is the light pollution. Lights on the joystick, lights on the Amico. Now, I've heard people say this, maybe the reason the Amico is a little pricey at $250 is because of the lights on the console, the lights on the controller, that those are unnecessary and that kind of thing. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see when we play the console. I think it looks neat, with the lights off. In the demos they show, that Intellivision has shown, I think it looks pretty cool with the lights. But we'll see what kind of functionality they have. Could be pretty interesting. All right, so the last two comments are polar opposites of one another and are really interesting. So this is not comments on my video. The first is a comment on a certain podcast, and the next is a Facebook comment. So let's get to that podcast comment first. Now this is really painting people abroad with people that are interested in the Amico and the Atari VCS and other retro consoles with a pretty broad brush, but he's not saying it's everyone. So anyway, let's get to it. The podcast comment from a podcaster says, individuals who feel like they don't belong in modern society or feel like they're getting pushed out. That's who he's saying people that like these retro consoles are. Either way, they're not comfortable with the way things are, and they want to go back to a time when things seemed better. And he's saying, I want to feel how I did when I played a game 40 years ago. He's projecting that on the person that's interested. I didn't have to worry about a mortgage, or maybe I went through a divorce, and I don't want to think about my life now. Or maybe because it's not as good. Not as good as 40 years ago, okay. I don't want to think about being a failure at life. I have shortcomings or didn't live up to expectations. And again, he says, to be fair, he's saying, I'm not saying that's everyone. But it appears to me that he's painting a pretty, saying a lot of people that are interested in the Amico, because that's what we're talking about here. And he's talking about retro consoles in general, these modern retro consoles, that basically he's saying a bunch of losers, people that are failures in life are interested in these. That's why they're nostalgic for this. And I think that's everyone, the people I know that I'm friends with, that I've spoken with in person, online, that are really looking forward to the Amico are basically people, that grew up with the Intellivision, that grew up with the Atari or whatever, or even the NES or ColecoVision. And they just want to return to a simpler time with gaming because they find these kinds of games fun. Yeah, there's nostalgia associated. Yeah, there's looking back and all that fun stuff. Yeah, there's the simplicity and enjoyment and all that of, when you were a kid. It was a lot of fun to be a kid in a lot of ways, especially with gaming. But to say because now you're a failure or you're a loser, so many of the Amico fans, friends of mine, they're successful people that are just very busy. Either they're married or have a big job or run a company or just all the responsibilities that adulthood brings, or just have multifaceted interests. Like myself, I do a million different things along with playing video games, and I am married, and I have kids and responsibilities, and I have all these side gigs and all this stuff, and I have a great life, and I can't complain. And I'm just looking for the Amico because I enjoy simple games and I like the Intellivision. So that's simple, and I think that's most of the people. And to paint, to say a lot of people interested in the Amico are just basically losers, just seems kind of a shot, kind of an unfair shot. In a Facebook post I found, kind of addressed this. It wasn't directed at this particular podcast because this is very recent and the Facebook post was before that. Sorry I don't have the Facebook person's name. But he's saying he's addressing like who the console is for. And he's saying people like me who have a wife, kids, jobs, friends who don't care about games, etc. People who have to juggle sleeping, working, socializing, putting food on the table, playing with their kids, and most importantly, getting laid. I guess when your life revolves around sleeping, killing enough sewer rats so you don't get enough health points to fight the gray warlock, and make sure you don't wake your mom upstairs, you may have plenty of free time. But for us people with a life, the system is perfect. Now, I'm not saying the Facebook poster is addressing the podcast poster. I'm just saying these are two diametrically opposed comments. On one view, people, there's some negative Nellies, people that just can't stand the idea of the Amico are saying this is for just overgrown losers, man babies, or whatever that, just pathetically look back at a better time. And the Facebook poster saying, no, those of us who are older and have all these responsibilities like us, these simple games that take less time. We don't have 400 hours to put in, the latest Zelda game or anything like that. We like these games that are pick up and play, that don't take a ton of time, that you can play with your kids and all that kind of stuff. That is the kind of person that I know of that's looking forward to the Amico. Now, a lot of people that are looking forward to the Amico don't even know it yet because a lot of these parents, just mainstream casual gamers don't even know about the Amico yet. So far, the Amico has mostly been aimed at retro gamers and a lot of you guys watching these types of channels. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of the potential of the Amico. Let me know what you think about some of the comments I've read. Again, I welcome all comments on my channel as long as they're polite. Positive, negative, anywhere in between. Let me know what you think about the Amico. I've told you my opinion. I'm looking forward to it. I have no guarantees that it'll be a success. It's a chance. They're taking a big chance with this. They're sinking a lot of money into it, but I think they have a good, aimed at casual gamers. There are so many millions of casual gamers that might want to play, games on the TV as opposed to, just their mobile phones or, their tablets or whatever. So I think there is a market, there's untapped potential here. So we will see what happens in October of this year. We'll check it out. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for going to BrettWeissWords.com and checking out my books and my Patreon and all that good stuff. Again, that's BrettWeissWords.com. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, commenting, and all that good stuff. And thank you for watching. We'll see you in another video.